Later on, I'll manage. Don't worry.
हमारे मीटिंग चल रही है तो मैंने ही धारावाहिक तो बच्चों को कोई भी काम करते
जरा म्यूट करवानो હોય તારું
મસ્ત મૂવી છે.
मंगल मंगल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थ साधिके शरण्ये
Dr. Usma Desai, Usmani.
Ita madam, shall we begin?
Yeah, just 1 second. Huh?
Okay.
Tap to speak करने
Arpan, I think we can start now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
एक नुपुर को जानते हैं?
By the way,
क्या
this
किया?
is Dr. Jayesh Desai. He is
All
our
the
participants,
हाँ, करिश्मा ने किया बस।
students, keep your microphone on mute. All of you. I request all of you to keep your microphone on mute.
he is our director, Dr. Jayesh Desai.
Hello, Dr. Desai. How are you?
Good morning, Professor Arpit. It's a great pleasure to have you, and we are honored and we feel grateful to you for giving or becoming ready to deliver this lecture in a short notice on our request. Ours is a BBA program where undergraduation program we run, and students from SY and TY have connected. Both these semesters have subject on business startup and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So we are very happy to have you. I've heard a lot of things about you and your approach and your work in creativity and innovation. So I'm sure our students would learn a lot. So welcome you, Professor.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
great
so
to have
much.
you. I'll not spend much time and allow you or permit you to start.
Okay.
Okay, Arpan, let me give a few introduction about you and then.
Sure, sure.
So a very good morning to all the students of BRCM College. Today's distinguished speaker, Professor Arpan Yagnik, our in charge director, sir, faculties, colleagues, and my dear team. It gives me great pleasure to introduce speaker of the session, Professor Arpan Yagnik. He is a TEDx speaker, author, and faculty. He is at present assistant professor in advertising at Penn State University, USA. His motto is action inspired by creativity. He is a creative aerobics expert and the coordinator of the Center for Creativity Enhancement. He has delivered more than 50 talks and trainings in 3 continents on creativity. He is a TEDx speaker and has published several peer-reviewed journal articles, book chapters, a book, and the guest editor of a journal of special issue. Professor Arpan has the diverse experience of working in academia, industry, and as an entrepreneur. He has been recognized with several awards such as Aries 40 under 40, BGSU's 10 under 10, Honor Roll Award, President's Award for Distinguished Service, and many other awards for his all-round excellence and outstanding achievements. He was the guest editor for a special issue on creativity for an academic journal. He also enjoys the distinct honor of serving as a commissioner on the Pennsylvania Governor's Advisory Commission for Asian and Pacific Islander Affairs. With this brief opening, may I now invite Professor Arpan Yagnik to deliver his session. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with this amazing bunch of young people. Thank you all who have taken the time to join to listen to this session. I hope I can make it worth your time. So there are a few things that I want to once again remind and reiterate. It will be awesome if you all can keep your microphones muted. That way we will, not have some humorous and funny moments, although it is good to laugh a little, but it might disrupt the flow. And honestly, before some of you joined, I think someone was doing prayers in their home, and it was so nice. And so I'm thankful to whoever it was for those brief 10 seconds who left their microphone on. They just blessed this event. So anyhow, see, someone muted me. There is an abstract question that I want to ask you all, and is something that I want you to reflect on. So
મારે તો જોઈન્ટ થઈ ગયું.
if
હા.
if my goodness, okay, this is amazing. If you want to sell health and fitness, okay, if you want to get into a business startup pertaining health and fitness, you would typically say commodify it and commoditize it by saying, okay, I'm going to sell salt which has a certain ingredient. I am going to sell a certain type of toothpaste which has a certain pro health ingredient, or I'm going to sell this wheat flour which has a certain nutrient that is going to help. So if you want to sell health, you can commodify or commoditize it in many different ways. Now if now I come to the abstract question that if you want to sell stability, how would you commoditize stability? And it is an abstract question. I don't expect an answer at the moment, but I want you to think about this. I want you to, dedicate some of your mental resources into thinking about that. If you have to be in the business, create a business startup on stability, what would be your commodity? Okay, so this is something that I want you to think about and start. And today I want to, depending on the time, I'm going to highlight on two aspects pertaining to creativity. So I'm going to, of course, speak a little bit about creative aerobics, which is an ideation system. It helps you generate ideas, develop solutions, and it's a very fast, it's a very effective creativity enhancement strategy. So of course I will talk a little bit about it and I'll give you an overview. But there is another thing which I was going through the syllabus of the innovation and business startup course, and when I was preparing, one thing I think it struck a chord, and I'm going to talk about that, and that is obviousness. Okay, so it is if you go through the literature suggests that most of the ideas are discounted because they are obvious, and that is very unfortunate, because obvious ideas which may seem obvious to you are not actually obvious to other people. Okay, so if you also look at the creative process has 5 stages. The first stage is of preparation, the second stage is of incubation, the third stage is of insight, the fourth stage is of evaluation, and the fifth is the elaboration. Now preparation is what it sounds. So this is the creative process, how we process things creatively. Preparation is when you go and do your research. Say in the business lingo, it could be termed as your market research, segmentation, your A/B testing and things like that. You do research, your scanning of the competition, your opportunities. Colleges have a very close affinity to something known as SWOT analysis, the strengths, weakness, and students, and instructors love to give that to students. All right, go conduct a SWOT analysis. But there are many more ways to scan the market, test the market, and go about doing, your business. That is the stage of preparation. Preparation is about absorbing. It's absorbing as much as you can, whenever you can. The second stage is of incubation. Once you have absorbed, once you've collected all this information, you start churning it. So if I use a physiological metaphor for it, preparation is about collecting and making the food. Okay. Incubation is putting it in your mouth and chewing it and churning it. This is a very, very important step and stage because it leads to insight. It leads to the moments of epiphany, the aha moment. Between incubation and insight, you can pick up any of the most significant discoveries or invention. This is the trajectory that they follow. There are certain other very important things, and I will come to that. But I just want you to be aware of the creativity process right now. So incubation is when you are constantly thinking, you are pondering about the issue at hand, the problem at hand, and this is where you are not per se engaged in that activity. You are actually engaged in other activities, and these are mostly low level of physical activities that you are involved in, but at the back of your mind the problem is constantly churning. This is the stage of incubation. Incubation is what leads to insight, the epiphany. Think of Archimedes. Archimedes was constantly thinking. He was engrossed in a problem where he wanted an effective way to measure the mass of objects. He wanted to, find a way to do that. He was constantly thinking about it. He was incubating it. And one low level of physical activity that he was involved in one day was taking a bath. So he sat down in his, bathtub, and suddenly water spilled over. And this led to an insight, a moment of epiphany, aha. And he yelled Eureka and kept running naked all around. Okay. There is a reason why he was the one who got that epiphany and not many others, because there were many other people that were daily taking a shower in a bathtub. Similarly, you can take the example of Isaac Newton. There are so many people on whose heads things have fallen. Like, you're walking and suddenly a bird blesses you and things fall on you. Similarly, that same thing happened with Newton. He was sitting under a tree and a ripe apple fell, they say, on his head, but it could have fallen somewhere close to him as well. But things falling has been a common occurrence. Why was Einstein only the person who was able to discern gravity from that? Take theory of relativity, for example. A major portion of the theory of relativity came to Einstein when he was traveling in a double-decker bus, and he was looking at a clock tower while he was going in a bus. It is also very, very well known that Einstein every day would involve himself in some of the most mundane activities, as going out in the afternoon for a walk, enjoying a candy, a dolly, a mango dolly, what is referred to over here. He would just be having that mango dolly and observing the pigeons in the square. Chabutre. We had this notion of chabutro in our, Gujarati, culture. So he would just be there looking at all the pigeons, at the kabutars in the chabutra. If anybody else would have done it, he would be, अरे इसको कुछ काम धंधा नहीं है क्या? पूरा दिन बैठ के कबूतर देखता रहता है. So, but there was a reason, and the reason behind all of these things was the process of incubation. But incubation for the sake of incubation doesn't do much. So what I mean by that is that if you imagine that you are a bird, you can imagine whatever bird you want to be, one of the most beautiful or one of the most ugly ones. Okay. You can be an albatross, you can be an eagle, you can be a, whatever. Now, one of the things that the birds do is that they lay eggs and they sit on them. They incubate them, right? When they incubate an egg, a chick comes out of it, a little baby cute bird comes out of it, right? But the same bird, if it were to be sitting on a rock or a stone, what is going to come out of it? Nothing. So for us, from a business startup point of view, the distinction between the rock and the egg is an enabling problem. Okay, please listen to me carefully. Without an enabling problem, imaginative solutions that are different from our original expectations don't occur to us. If Einstein were not thinking about gravity when that apple fell, he would not have deduced gravity. No, that was Newton. If Archimedes was not thinking about measuring, he would not have discerned. The same thing can also be said about the origin of species. The entire Charles Darwin, when he explained evolution through origin of species, there were other people at the same time or before them who had as much exposure to the things. He had traveled far and wide. There were other scientists who also had that exposure, and they also had the read that famous essay on population, but it just did not occur to them. And after um, uh, Charles Darwin put it in Origin of Species, everyone was like, shoot, why did this not occur to us? So for a business startup, for the creativity and creative process, it is very important for you to know what is incubation and to strive to reach at a level where you have an enabling problem, a question that is very important for you to answer. Your business is essentially going to answer an important question. It is going to meet, your startup is going to meet an unmet need of the people. It could be very obvious, but it is what is obvious to you is not obvious to others, because others have not spent the same amount of time in incubating that problem. Okay, so there are two underlying messages over here. One is that if an idea that comes to you, if an insight, if an epiphany that comes to you seems very obvious, don't discount it, don't discard it, because it is obvious to you because you have spent so much time thinking about it, processing it. But what is obvious to you is not obvious to others. Something that is very obvious and it requires no explanation to most of us Indians is say for example touching the feet of elders or your teachers that we meet, right? It is very obvious we do that. We respect them, we want to make sure that our ego is suppressed and whatever but it is very obvious to all of us. But someone who comes from say some part of Europe or say United States, it is not obvious to them. Why is this person bending down and touching the feet? It's not obvious to them. Another thing that is very obvious to us culturally is that we remove our shoes when we enter into our own house or somebody else's house. In the US, they don't. They will wear the shoe and then just jump on the couch and put their feet up as well. And I'm like, "Arey, pehle joote to nikal bahar." Why would you do that? But it's just not obvious to them. So the reason why it is obvious to you is because you have some background in it. Your idea, your business idea, it is obvious to you, but it is not obvious to others. I'm repeating this again and again because what happens is that after incubation and insight, the next stage is evaluation. Okay, whether my idea is worth it or not, whether my business idea is worth it or not. Here what happens is that most awesome ideas get dropped because they are perceived to be obvious. Okay, So in that evaluation phase, these ideas get dropped. So I want to constantly, repeatedly hammer this in your head. If you are working on a business problem, if you are working on a business solution, and if that solution and if that idea seems obvious to you, it does not mean that you should discount it, you should discard it. Please stick with it. Okay. There is another thing that we all should know and remind ourselves, is that when we think about startups, when we think about business, when we think about innovation, we are all very ideal about it. So we want to create a business, we want to create a startup that is going to last for ages and ages. We want to create companies like Ford and Larsen and Tubro and Coca-Cola that have lasted for hundreds of years. Most businesses don't last that long. Okay. So while we want to try and make sure that something lasts us for a longer time, it is important that we keep in mind that there are short-term business opportunities as well. Okay. And business startups should also, so when you are looking at a problem, you have to think and process, is this something that I can, keep it in the short term? And all these short-term business startups, they actually help you fund your ultimate long-term startup. So it's not that the first business you start is going to be your last one. Okay. So this is also a very, very important aspect of your evaluation strategy. But most people, because it is because it is something that we have created, we have generated. See, we love our kids so much, right? Because they are our own. But business, they have come through us, but we should not be so personally attached to either an idea or a business, because everything can change. And the most recent pandemic has taught us that everything was shifting online, and there was this huge, massive momentum and wave towards turning everything online, and there was disruption and whatnot. So things such as Uber created a disruption in the business of moving people from one place to other. Airbnb created a major disruption. These businesses are struggling. When everything is going online, these online businesses are struggling. Okay. So please don't think that a business is like Hanumanji, it is going to live forever and ever and ever. No, that's not going to happen. It comes for a certain time. Every business has a role to play in your gradual and incremental rise towards becoming a successful business person and a startup guy. And this is also part of the the creative process, the preparation, incubation, insight. You require an enabling problem. Another more sort of a technical term for an enabling problem is a provocation. Okay. Without a provocation, certain creative responses and reactions are not plausible. You have to develop the ability to ask better questions. Okay. Without better questions, you will not be able to respond to the unmet needs of the people and the market. All the famous discoveries and inventions that I listed, there was an enabling problem, there was a question, there was a provocation, which led to that conclusion, which led to that derivation, which led to that inference. Without it, it's not going to happen. So that's a little bit about the creative process and the incubation and evaluation. Always, keep in mind, when you are thinking about a business idea, you have to think, am I sitting on an egg or am I sitting on a rock? Because if you're sitting on a rock, no matter how much you incubate it, a little baby bird is not going to come out of it. Okay. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to try and make sure that you are thinking about better questions so that you get better answers. I will, slightly give you another example. Government. What do you think the government is made up of? It is, in a way, for the most part, made up of some of the brightest minds in the nation. The bureaucracy, all the IAS officers, they have gone through such rigorous training, and they have cleared so many things. They have worked for so many years. People who are in public life, people, leaders, they have worked so many years. They have given so many sacrifices. You think they don't have the capability or the ability to solve the problems? I am of the opinion that of course they have it, but they don't have an enabling problem. They are not able to formulate better questions. For some reason they get into the rut, for some reason they get into the routine, or the fear of losing the position takes over, and they stop being innovative, they stop being entrepreneurial, they stop developing these provocations and better questions. And because of that, imaginative solutions have no place in governments, right? Because they get taken down. There is no imaginative question. If there is no imaginative question, there is no imaginative solution. This, according to me, is the major problem of most governmental structures in the nation. They have the best minds, they can hire the best minds, and people are patriotic enough to give their time, effort, money, even for free if they get a chance to serve their nation. But it is the lack of the provocation, it is the lack of the enabling problem which hinders the functioning of this massive organization. The same applies to business startups, and it actually is even more relevant, okay? Because you are starting, the capital is limited, the finances are limited, and things like that. Okay, let me quickly take a look at the time. Okay, good, we are doing good on time. So that was the first thing. The obvious, the stages of creativity. I had asked you one abstract question before. I'm going to ask you another abstract question now. If you want to be in the business of positivity, if you want to develop, if you want to generate a startup that sells or commoditizes positivity, what would you do about it? How would you go about it? What would be your product? Write these things down when I say, because it will help you think in a way that you have not thought about these things before. Okay, so the first one was, if you want to sell stability, what would your commodity be? The second is, if you want to sell positivity, what would your commodity be? Now I'll come to creative aerobics. Creative aerobics is a fantastic ideation technique which allows you to generate ideas in rapid succession. Okay, creative aerobics has been around for 2 decades, and I have been involved with it now for close to 14 years. It has changed my life drastically. And I'm not going to tell you my life story and bore you or things like that, because I'm more interested in changing your life story from where it goes on from now, rather than telling you my life story and all the successes that creative aerobics has led to people. So creative aerobics is an ideation system. It is made up of 4 interconnected exercises. One of the major issues that we face in ideation and brainstorming is that it is a small group exercise. Brainstorming started as an individual exercise, but then research in the early 60s, late 60s and early 70s suggested that it is ideal, it is best when it is done in a small group setting with a diverse group of people. because there is something called creative exhaustion. We are not used to using our creative muscles all the time because we are not trained for it. So creative exhaustion sets in. To beat that creative exhaustion, you require more people, because so that you can bounce off of their ideas and what their provocations are. When there is a group of friends, the conversation never stops. It just keeps going, it keeps flowing, because they all bring in new provocations and you respond, and and that's why we love to be around with our friends. The conversation is never dull. But if you are, say, going on a date with a completely unknown person, the bouncing off of ideas is not going to be there. It is going to be very awkward. You say, I like coffee. The other person says, So what do you say? But with your friend, if you say, I like coffee, he's going to say, wait, do you like black coffee or dark coffee? Which one? I don't like either of them. I like this Colombian coffee that is created in a very interesting manner. So it keeps on bouncing off. And this is very, very important. So creative aerobics allows you to generate so many provocations. It's a system of 4 interconnected exercises where the provocations are inbuilt, so you don't have to worry about it. Even if you are an individual person, you can still generate more solutions than a small group of people. Okay, so what are the exercises? Before going to that, anytime we have a problem, we directly start thinking of the solution. This is not a very effective system, because we are not dealing with just one problem. We don't have that luxury. Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton had that type of luxury where they were just dealing with one problem. And they focused and dedicated their entire life to it. Albert Einstein, did not want any distractions or disturbances. He told his wife that, please leave me. I'm going to give you all the money that I earned from the Nobel Prize I'm going to get. But don't disturb me, don't come in my way. That's what he did. He made a deal with his wife. Leave me, divorce me. I will give you all the money that I earned from Nobel Prize, and I guarantee you that I'm going to earn a Nobel Prize in the next 2 years. And he gave all the money to his wife, but we don't have that type of luxury. We have a life, and business startups especially, we have to be so much involved. We are fighting so many battles in so many different directions. So we don't have that luxury, which means that the focus on the solution, it's very stressing. It creates stress, because the solution that you get, you might not like. So instead of focusing on the solution, what creative aerobics does is that it allows you to focus on the process. You submit to the process, you surrender to the process, and n number of solutions emerge. Then it's just a matter of picking the one that's most relevant or that's the best. That is a very easy process. It reduces stress drastically. And I can simulate, some stress by asking you a couple of questions and things like that. And, but I'm not going to do that right now. So let me very quickly get to the creative aerobics exercises. And these are very simple. You don't need an extraordinary degree or extraordinary knowledge, to get to that. So creative aerobics 1 is pretty much similar to the preparation process. Here, creative aerobics 1 is about finding facts. So doing your research. So if whatever your product is, I have given you 2 ideas so far. One is about stability and one is about positivity. You want to try and find as many facts as possible. These are both very abstract, so it's going to be very difficult for you to find, facts for them. But say this, for example, it is a band, but it is not actually a band. It is a thumb drive, a pen drive. Okay. So if you want to be creating a business about pen drive, you want to try and find every fact out there about that product. There are different strategies to find the fact. You can Google it. You can do like secondary research. You can do some primary research by actually using it. Facts come from your experience. You can ask other people to give you facts. So for this, it can store like 8 gigabytes of worth of data. It is made out of steel. There is a chip inside. It connects to every laptop which has a certain USB drive. It can give data, but it can also eat up data. It is lightweight. These are all the different facts, and these facts, they come in handy when you want to either synthesize it with other things, or you want to create a promotional message for your product. So that's your creative aerobics 1. Okay. Creative aerobics 2 is about creating new names for your existing product. So say, for example, if pen drive, if you want to create new names for pen drive, there are 2 conditions. One, that they have to be nouns, and 2, because they are names, they have to be nouns, and 2, they cannot be synonyms. So what are some of the new names for a pen drive? You just have to look around and start listing everything that is around you: a bottle, a wire, a pen, a pad, a calendar, a switchboard, a mobile phone, a picture frame, a statue, a ball, a pencil, a vase. These are all new names, and there are multiple strategies to come up with new names as well. And these help you go deeper into the creative process because it activates the creative switch. It takes you away from the what it is to the what it isn't. Creative aerobics 1 is the what it is, where you are basically answering the question, or you are finishing the sentence. This pen drive is lightweight, it's made of steel. So there, in creative aerobics 2, you are essentially completing the sentence: this pen drive is not, as I said, a bottle, a picture frame, a mobile phone, a calendar, a pad, a pen. So this takes you from the zone of what it is to the zone of what it isn't. Now, this is a little bit of a theoretical thing. We typically spend our entire lifetimes in the what it is. The what it is the zone of things that are known, things that are certain, things that are comfortable. Whereas the zone of what it isn't, which is an unlimited zone, it is uncertain, it is ambiguous, it does not make sense, it can be scary, there are a lot of unknowns. But there are unlimited potentials, there is unlimited possibilities, and there is unlimited solutions that are out there. We all want to try and come up with solutions. Like to solve today's problem, yesterday's solutions are not going to be helpful. And to solve tomorrow's problem, today's solutions are not going to be very useful. So we have to go into the zone of the what it isn't, which is also otherwise sometimes known as the out of box thinking and things like that. So through creative aerobics 2, you have developed a system of going into your what it isn't zone. And here there are so many different prospects that are available but were not previously accessible to you. They exist. Creative aerobics 3 is about finding similarities between dissimilar objects and entities. Synthesizing, this is when insights start occurring. You synthesize different pieces of information, you integrate them, and then come up with the most awesome and outstanding solutions that exist. So here we will do a simple little exercise, and you can type in your chat box some of the answers that occur to you. So what are some of the similarities between a pen drive and a water bottle? You can type in the chat and let me know what are some of the similarities. Oh, wonderful. Milin says storage. Very good. Very good. Portable. Very nice. It can store things. Of course. Very good. Farheen. What else? What are some of the other similarities? Convenient. Good job, Prerna. They're both mobile. Very good, Zeal. Easy to carry it anywhere. Good job, Ria and Ruchika. Awesome. What else are the similarities between a pen drive and a water bottle? Lightweighted, very good, Dave. Good one. Oh, love it, Vidhi. Storage volume can be customized. That is such a deep insight. I love it. Awesome. Can't live without both. Very good. I don't know the name, but good job, iPhone. Store essential, yeah, life-giving things. You know, there might be very important documents in here, and without this, we don't know. So good job, Jerin. They're both necessity. Yes, Chanchal. Give me two more. Two more similarities between a pen drive and a water bottle. It's off. Meri billi muji ko miyav, Darshan. It's obvious to have. Good job. A price sensitive. Good job. So yeah, see, these two are pretty different things, but then as soon as your creative switch is turned on, you know, so many similarities come about. We can do one more. Tell me two things that are extremely dissimilar, and we will try and find similarities between two of them. What about a pen and a hand sanitizer? So, okay, what are the similarities between a pen and hand sanitizer? Think about it and tell me. Portable, yeah, okay. Oh, nice. Isha, good job. Refill the contents of the hand sanitizer and the refill, of course, very good. They both have plastic materials used. Good job, Taylor. Ganpat Singh ji, both can be refilled. Yes. Vidisha. Both are essential for bright future. I love that. Yeah. They both have caps. Oh, wow. See, now that's awesome. They both actually do have caps. Wash dust by words. Very good. By sanitizing. They are available everywhere. They both can kill enemies. I like it, Tilak. I like the spirit. Used by hands. Yes, of course. Carry them easily. Wonderful, wonderful. See, these are the things, these are the ways, you know, I mean, I don't think any of you have thought about these type of things, that what is the similarity between a pen and a hand sanitizer. But this is the way to go about for generating insights. When you are thinking about a business problem, you want to go into the zone of what it isn't and go as far as possible and bring something back from that zone of what it isn't, and then try and find similarities between them. And trust me, no matter how hard you try to not find similarities, there will always be similarities. For the last 5 years, I have an ongoing bet. सबसे जहाँ पे भी मैं जाता हूँ वहाँ पे शर्त लगाता हूँ, मेरे पॉकेट में $100 का नोट पड़ा हुआ है. I have $100 note in my pocket. If you can come up with two things, any two things on this planet, off this planet, that don't have any similarities between them, I will give you that $100 note to you. 5 साल हो गए, अभी तक वो नोट मेरे पास ही है. बैंक में डाल दिया होता तो अभी तक $150 हो गए होते. But the point is that no matter how dissimilar things are, no matter how much you think that there is nothing similar, there are always similarities between dissimilar. So the world of similarities is bigger than the world of dissimilarities. However, we are trained in our schools and in our college to have a certain type of thinking where we are good at identifying dissimilarities, how different we are from one another, how different one thing is from one another. And that is also a trait that we develop as part of our evolutionary biology. It is important to distinguish between a snake and a rope, okay, because one is going to cost us our life. So it is important, but then the same thing when done in overdose and on steroids like the way it's going on right now, it leads to serious societal fractures. Most of the problems that we face right now in society is because we look at the differences. We can solve a lot of societal problems, and it is a great place for business startups and opportunities to come in, where how society is similar and how we are similar. It's a great business opportunity and something for you all to think about. So that is your creative aerobics number 3. Creative aerobics 4 is slightly complicated. It's one of the most difficult because there we actually learn to manipulate information. Okay, we take things, we use, we put to use the alternative meanings of words and things like that. But it is much more dedicated to the play of words and ideas rather than the actual thing. So I'll give one example and not dwell too much in it. It has application, but within the given time frame, it will be very hard for me to do justice to it. So the one example that I give very commonly is that I woke up today morning and I finished all the cereal. Cereal is like, that cornflakes and things like that, they call it cereal. So I woke up today morning and I finished all my cereal. So who am I? I am a serial killer. Okay. So all the word play that happens, but the same thing can be done with ideas as well. Once you've learned to merge them, synthesize them, integrate them, you can now play with ambiguity and create different, idea synthesis and things like that. Not going to go too much into it, but that is largely your creative aerobics, the 4 exercise. It's a process, you follow them. Creative aerobic 1, say for example, it leads to 1 data point, say this is made out of steel. So then creative aerobics 2, you generate new names. For every one fact, you can have 100 different new names. Okay. And your data, you keep on generating lots and lots of data. So the amount of data, the amount of eventual solutions that you develop runs into thousands. Okay. So, which means that the lack of provocation, the creative exhaustion, which is a major issue when you are thinking about stuff alone, it does not happen in creative aerobics. Okay. And it is, the process is so random. This time you've taken the fact that this is steel. If you say that this is portable, portability will lead to another different 1,000 solutions. So even if you do the process again, you cannot arrive at the same solutions. So that's the beauty of this process. My book is called Creative Aerobics, and it is available on the internet, on the Amazon. You can definitely go and check it out, and you can purchase it. It's it allows you to work with it, so you can also do the exercises along with it, and it's a great resource. It has changed the way I think about things. It has changed my perspective to life, and it has put me exactly where I wanted to be. If this were not the case, I would still be in some corporate company making a lot of money and being miserable and unhappy. It can work for a lot of people. It doesn't work for me. So I chose a different path. I chose a different what it isn't. I chose the path where, there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of unknown, but that's where the real life is. If you keep on living in your comfort zone, I don't think we can call that life. especially for you all who are into business startups, entrepreneurship, you have to constantly live in your what it isn't. If you keep living in your what it is, you know, it's not going to work out well for you. Okay, so I have one more another thing for you to think about. So the first question was about stability. That was the business. The second one was about positivity. The third one, if you have to create a business startup around wisdom, what would be the commodity? These three things, if you end up starting a business, I want you to give me, you know, 1% of the stake of your business. Only 1%, not more than that. No, I want you to seriously think about this, because according to me, the way things are going, the way things are moving, the business of people are so negative right now. Everyone is so negative. They don't see a sight in end. They are restricted to the confines of their home, and this is causing a lot of negativity. If you can come up with a business of you know, commoditizing positivity and selling it to people, hey, you have a short-term business at your hand. Again, this is not that one of those long-term things. It could be, but I'm not talking about long-term things. If you can right now sell positivity to people, there are people who are ready to buy it. If you can sell wisdom to people right now, they are ready to buy it. If you can sell stability to people, there is a market for it. You are so many, you know, all your ripe and fertile brains, you need to put them together and then make sure that, you know, you come up with some innovative way. But for that, you will have to have an enabling problem. I have planted the seed of an enabling problem by sensitizing you to three constructs, three notions: the notion of stability, the notion of positivity, and the notion of wisdom. Now it is up to you how to generate and transform these into further enabling problems and then incubate them. Trust me, these are eggs, these are not rocks. You will not be wasting your time by incubating them. So I want you to incubate them, evaluate your idea, and see what you can do. Sorry, I just, this something, I saw something which was very interesting. One of the participants who wanted to enter, uska, the name was SRK, naam to suna hi hoga. So I enjoyed that, you know, seeing it. I have not seen any participant, or I have not had Shah Rukh Khan join me before in one of my sessions. So thank you, Shah Rukh Khan, for joining. We don't know who it is, but thank you again. So I want to conclude and give you some time to ask me questions if you have. And I want to conclude by sort of going over some of the things that I have talked. If an idea seems obvious to you, it does not mean that it is obvious to other people, and it is still a legit business prospect. Okay. The reason why it might seem obvious to you, the answer lies to that in the creative process. And the reason is because you have incubated it, you know. You've sat on it, you've given it warmth, you've thought about it, you've processed it, you've churned it, you've digested it. That is why it seems obvious to you. Okay. So insight, epiphany is rare. It doesn't happen gradually unless you spend time thinking about it. Don't drop the idea in the evaluation process just because it is obvious. I'm repeating this again and again. Okay. There is a need for an enabling problem to have an imaginative solution which is different from the original expectations. Provocations are very important for you to respond. Our brain is so amazing. You did not, you know, think that you were going to today find similarities between pen and sanitizer. But as soon as I provided to you the provocation of finding the similarity between these two, you couldn't stop, like, you had to go ahead and respond to it. So it was not something that was taught to you. It was not something that is part of your educational formal training. It is part of you, and you have to bring it out. Okay. Lastly, I talked about the process of creative aerobics. It's a 4-step. There are 4 interconnected steps. It's a process. So you just have to submit yourself, and at the end of the process, lots of multiple solutions emerge. You just have to pick and choose which is the most ripe and most right for you. If it doesn't, you go through the process again. Whole host of another solutions will occur to you. So that is what I have told you. You can pursue the knowing more about creative aerobics by getting the book, or there is also the TED Talk that you can listen to and get some more information about it. You can also get in touch with me if you like, and I will tell you how to get in touch with me a little later, but I want to give time for maybe 1 or 2 questions that you might have. You can either type it or unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, I have one question over here to send privately to me. Stability is something okay, stability is an important term. How can we consider or perceive as businessman? Okay, so I'm assuming the question is that how to process stability as a business. So there are 2 ways to process, like, anytime you ask a business person about stability, they think of stability in terms of the income flow. Okay. Which is one aspect of it, but stability, when we are not talking about your stability, what I am referring to is the feeling, the perception of stability in the mind of your consumer. Okay. How can you give them a feeling of stability? For that, you have to first go and start asking, what are the areas in which people feel that they don't have stability? Of course, finance is one aspect where everyone prefers, but they don't have it. Okay. But then what could be some of the other areas where people do not have stability? And this is a question I'm asking to all of you. So you can think about it and write your response in the chat section. What are some of the areas in which people want stability, but they don't have stability? Mental health. Very good. Mental stability. Mood swings. Okay, there could be so many different ways. We can take a look at this. Some people, they are either stressed, they are experiencing anxiety, depression, because of which they have mood swings. Things are not going right in their life, and because of it, their mental health or mental stability is suffering. So this is one entire huge area. Of course, there are counselors and psychologists who are there to help provide stability, and that is a form of business stability. Can you create a platform for the counselors and mental health professional to come together to people? Another form of stability, instability, that is recently getting popular is that there is no one to listen to people. I have so much to say, but there is no one to listen. So people are opening a business of listening. They'll give you 1 hour, you give them 50 rupees or 80 rupees or 10,000 rupees, I don't care. But they just talk and you listen to them without judging them. A lot of other responses are coming. Physical fitness and health. Yes, the stability in physical fitness and health. Of course, gyms are there, but what else can be there? Gadgets, survival. So you see, you can take stability into so many different ways. Another same thing goes for positivity, and I'm talking about it because one of the students or participants asked a question about it, that what is positivity, and can you give an example? So instead of me giving some examples, I'm again going to open it up to you all. What do you think if you want to commoditize positivity, what are some ways to do that? What are the areas or aspects of life that we know in which we require positivity but we don't have it? So what are your thoughts on that? Very good. Accepting our flaws. That's an excellent answer. It is very hard for us to accept our flaws, and we require to have a positive aptitude towards doing that, because only then can we become a well-rounded individual. Now, how can there be a business in helping people accept their flaws? It's going to be a tough business, but for that you have to find ways to identify someone's flaw. You can create a a questionnaire where you fill out and it will bring out all the flaws. You can have a person interact over a period of 4 weeks with 20 different people, and then they can combinedly give a feedback to people that, hey, these are your flaws. It might be hard, but that will help generate some kind of attraction within that person. A lot of other responses are also coming. Learning something new and improving every day. Meditation center be a business. Absolutely. People require positivity. One way to generate positivity is through meditation. If you can provide them with an environment, and the right guided meditation is huge in the United States. Guided meditation, and there is another thing where every day people come and they talk about their dreams. Whatever they have dreamt, they will talk about their dream, and there is it's sort of a trained person who actually helps them not understand or interpret the meanings behind their dreams and things like that, but it helps them think deeper and get to know them further, and charge them in certain ways that they have an enabling problem, they have a better question. So this dream, it is not dream interpretation exactly, but they just come every day and everyone talks about dream. It's not that you have to prepare anything. All you have to do is just dream. So as a moderator, you just sit there, everyone comes and talks, and you just join the dots, help them synthesize. Now that is possible because you've done creative aerobics 3, finding similarities between dissimilar objects. So with what they say, you provide them with a provocation and help them connect, and people love it. If I do a dream session with you all, I can guarantee you will love it. The content comes from you, the craziness comes from you, okay? The weirdness comes from you. Everything that is required comes from you. What am I doing? I am just, creating some interesting synthesis among it. I am flicking things here and there, and it makes it very interesting. It's a very personalized business. You get to talk, you get to share, what more do you want? Hey, don't forget my 1%, by the way. I am just kidding. Oh, there are a lot of comments. I just got, taken away by this thing. Right, the pain and problems, connecting, monetize, positive psychology might be. So good. So I'm just, today, one of my main tasks was to make you think about different prospects, your journey into innovation and business startups. The last, my message is that businesses that are going to make you rich are going to fail faster than you think you can. They will. Businesses that will make other people rich, and by rich, I don't mean monetarily, but in the holistic sense of the word, businesses that are going to enrich others have a better shot. And you have a better shot by engaging and starting such businesses because you will be deemed a better human being and not a better businessman. So try and think about these things. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just type Arpan Yagnik and you can connect with me. I keep posting and sharing stuff related to this. You can connect with me. You can message me there and can exchange, or of course, you can get in touch with Dr. Meeta Rathod, and she can, patch me and you up if you have certain questions or want to discuss a certain idea or want to get another provocation regarding an idea. So with that, I thank you all for your patience and participation. I hope this session has enriched you in ways that you had thought and ways that it had not thought. So once again, thank you, and be safe and keep taking care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to you, Meeta ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arpan. Jay, sir, are you there?
Yeah, I am there.
Would you like to say
Pushma
something?
or somebody can do vote of thanks, or you can do it.
Yes, sir. Definitely. I would like to thank Professor Arpan Yagnik on behalf of entire BRCM family and as a representative of our family. Sir, it was immensely insightful session, and I'm very happy, and it was very interesting the way exercises are conducted, and that led us to think basically in a certain direction where we don't approach very often. And definitely it was very interesting session. I'm sure I have benefited out of it, and I'm sure students also have immensely benefited out of your insightful words and words of wisdom. Thanks a lot, sir, for sparing your valuable time and enabling us all into diverging into this field where we don't venture very often. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, dear all, like with this, we come to the end of today's session. We shall meet again in the future with many more such expertise deliberations. So thank you very much, Arpan, for agreeing to deliver the talk on such an interesting topic and relevant topic like creativity in business startups and innovations. So from all of us from here, thank you very much, and wish you best wishes for the future also. And bye-bye. Till then, goodbye.
Yeah.
Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.